Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ashley Thomas with Summerside Creative Studio, and I'm so excited to walk you guys through how Dubsado has changed not just my business, but my life. So, not to be dramatic, but I have two businesses and I work full time. So, to have a powerful CRM system to kind of handle and automate all these tasks for me is an actual life changer. So I'm so excited to walk you guys through some of my workflows, processes, and everything. And hopefully, it can save your life as much as it has mine. So, Summerside was born out of an extension of my photography business. I found myself working more and more with small business owners and restaurants doing commercial photography, and I just found that I really had a passion for helping small businesses in their marketing. Well, that mixed along with my creative aspirations, I started doing some websites here and there and creating some logos, and that kind of blossomed into what Summerside is today. So, primarily, I offer website design services, graphic design services, brand identity, and commercial photography. I previously offered social media services, which I no longer do, but we'll dive into that when we talk about recurring invoicing because it's very important to have that feature and to have clients be able to auto pay you every month without having to chase them down. So, let's take a look at how Dubsado has changed my business. So I like to think of Dubsado as my project headquarters. Everything lives here, everything is accessible by both me and my clients for easy access, and all of my invoicing, contracts, forms, and questionnaires. Everything that I need involving a project is not only found on the back end in a great spot for me, but my clients can access it through their client portal. And that was absolutely crucial for me when dealing with bigger businesses like hotels and large scale restaurants, as they always needed copies of invoicing or W-9s or anything like that. So being able to keep all of this stuff into one website and have it available both on my computer and on my phone was absolutely crucial. All right, let's walk through some of my favorite Dubsado features. I am going to show you guys why I love this program so much, and I will walk you through a couple things. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I love answering questions and how I can get other business owners the same help that Dubsado gave me. So, by all means, let's connect. So, right here, you can see my monthly calendar. It's a little full. I like to overbook myself, and that's putting it lightly. But Dubsado helps me keep it somewhat in check. I do try to limit the amount of projects that I take on, but as you can see here, June was not one of those months. So, at a glance, as soon as I log in, I'm able to see what kind of projects I can work on, what availability I have, and how many other clients I can take on in that month. So, the first thing I want to dive into is the invoicing, because that by far was the most important thing for me in deciding which CRM system I wanted to go with. So I'm going to walk through a couple things with you guys. So here is what a primary invoice for one of my clients looks like. This client did both a website design and a brand design package, but you can also see down here that we had a couple other things to tack on at the end of it. And I love being able to just go in and edit these invoicing whenever I need to. I don't have to create a new one. I don't have to have 5 different invoices, although I do for this client, which I'll show you guys in a second. But I'm able to go in and edit even after the fact to kind of keep her invoice up to date, and she knows exactly how much she still owes and when it's due. So easily a huge time saver are these payment schedules down here. The clients know right away just from talking in our discovery calls or looking at my contract that typically 50% is due down to reserve the project start date, and then 50% is due upon completion of the project right before handoff of the files or the website, etc. Some projects are different. Some projects are pay in full, but this one in particular is 50%. And I have payment reminders that go out, which are awesome because I don't have to personally hound my clients to, hey, your payment's due in 2 days, or hey, your payment is due 2 days ago. Dubsado automatically does that for me, and I can kind of set up the cadence of those reminder emails as I see fit. Or for some clients, I can turn them off completely. They might not be ready to pay, or their project might be ongoing. So the flexibility of being able to turn that on and off and schedule the frequency is such a huge time saver. So I mentioned this client has a couple different invoices. This one is a recurring invoice for them. So it has not started yet because our project starts next month. But right here, I can set up a reoccurring invoice for social media management, and it automatically gets sent on the first of every month. And let me just tell you, not having to send an invoice every single month is so big for me. I love it. It frees up so much time. And again, the same payment reminders go on those invoices as they do the primary invoicing. So, highly recommend that if you are a kind of service provider or you have a subscription or of some sort, these recurring invoicing options are awesome. So my invoicing goes straight into QuickBooks. Some people use Wave or another accounting program. I prefer QuickBooks so that my accountant can get in there and kind of organize the things that I don't. So I love the fact that I can sync these straight to QuickBooks, and I don't have to worry about creating duplicate invoicing or create brand new ones in QuickBooks, because Dubsado just sends them straight over. Another huge game changer for me was the time tracker. So, some of my projects are hourly based. So, if I'm designing something that I know will probably have a few hours put into it, and I don't know what the scope of the project will be necessarily, this time tracker is a awesome tool. So, I'm going to walk through kind of how I would use that. So, I just did a packaging design for one of my clients, and that one was hourly because I had a feeling it would be a lot of changes, a lot of feedback, and I just wanted to make sure that I was accounting for all of my time. And for this project in particular, it didn't seem right to do value-based pricing, just knowing all the feedback and rounds of revisions. So I did an hourly time tracker with her, and the project was for Leaf Explorers, and the hourly rate was $75. The category was marketing services, and this is for her subscription box packaging design. So what I did was I came in here, and every time I knew I was about to sit down and work on her project, I pressed that green button, and all of a sudden my time is being accounted for. And that is so big because now not only do I invoice her for the proper amount, I also get an idea of how much time these things take me. So in the future, I can either bill differently or choose a different value-based pricing approach just based on the number of hours that this project took me. So at the end of the project, or if I'm done working on it from the day, I just hit stop, and then it automatically saves how much time I've spent working on that project, which is so helpful, because these projects take weeks, sometimes months, and I can always come in here and just hit that little play button and continue to work on the project, and it keeps track of my time, and it also keeps track of the total based on my hourly rate that I put up in here. So I don't have to do any math, which is even better. So once you have your project done and it's complete and everything's good, you can apply it directly to a primary invoice or a regular invoice, or a brand new invoice for that client, which is awesome because all you have to do is hit apply to invoice and then send it to your client, and it's done, which saves you probably 20 to 30 minutes just sitting there and trying to figure out how much time did I just spend on that project? How much do I invoice them? All that math, all that time, nobody's got time for it. So love that they do it for me. And now I'm going to kind of walk you guys through what a project looks like in terms of from lead to onboarding to feedback and all of that fun stuff. Okay, so this is my website, and this is what a client would see if they came to my contact page to submit an inquiry with me. I have a Dubsado lead form right here in my website. So it's super, super simple for a client to fill out the basic questions that I need to know on how to work with them and when they want to get started. So I'm going to fill out this questionnaire in terms of a fake client, and we'll walk through the process. So I'm going to use my photography business as a potential client. and I want to get started next month. And I want to do website and brand, and my budget is 4,000 plus. No, it's definitely not. But, and then this is where they would tell me a little bit more about their project. So I need new branding and website. And hit send. So that is a form completed from the client side. Now, what happens on my side is it goes straight into Dubsado, and I get not only an email about it, but I also get a text message that I've set up through Zapier. So every time a lead form gets submitted through my website, Zapier sends me a text message, and I get an instant notification both on my phone and on my Apple Watch that I have a new client inquiry. That way I can make sure that someone responds to them in a timely manner and that they know that their inquiry has been received. So we're going to log in to Dubsado now and see what that looks like from the backend. Okay, so here are all of my leads in Dubsado. So I have them separated from leads and then jobs. My jobs I have in three categories, sorry, completed, in progress, and future. But for leads, that's what this project is right now. And right here, you can see that that is the lead we just submitted. So I'm going to click through to my name, and right there is all the information that they filled out on my lead form. And I can get started on applying some of my workflows. So I don't have a ton of workflows. The way I like to do my business is I like to kind of keep things very personal and high touch, and I just want to be in touch with them personally. Sometimes I even text my clients, which they love. So I have a few workflows, and we'll go ahead and get started with the inquiry. And what that does is as soon as I hit apply, that is going to send an email to the client thanking them for inquiring and then giving them a little bit more information on how to work with me and the pricing and all of that information. So all I have to do is hit apply and then approve. So I definitely want to approve because I checked out their date for when they want to get started on their project. I am available, and so that's why I kind of have a approval process, is because I'm not always available in the time frame that that client wants to work. And that email is set up in my canned emails, which we'll walk through in a minute. But if the client does not respond to that email, after 2 days, I get a to-do in Dubsado to follow up with them. I typically won't follow up after 2 days. I like to give them more of a 7-day lead period. I'm certainly not a car salesman, and I don't like to be very pushy when it comes to asking my clients to work with me. So I kind of choose between 7 and 10 days to follow up with them. Just a gentle nudge, nothing too salesy, but it's not a canned email. It's something that I, write out manually. But that creates a to-do in case they haven't followed up with me. So now we'll walk into, the client wants to book. I'm so excited to work with them, and now we'll get them onboarded. Okay, I'm so excited because this fake client wants to work with me and do website and branding, and I'm very excited to get started. So this is kind of my workflow in the back end. I've already added a contract over here to this project, which will get sent out in a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and add an invoice. The one thing that I love about these invoices are all of my packages are already stored. So I have a package specifically for a full brand and website, and I'm going to go ahead and add that. And then you can see all of those line items are automatically generated for me, and the cost is automatically applied. So all I have to do is hit send. And I can either send it via email, or I can do a copy link and include it in a different email. But I have a workflow for onboarding all of my clients, and that will kind of get sent in that process as well. So I also need to add some forms to the project. I have a bunch of custom forms, most of which are questionnaires that the client needs to fill out for information that I need to get started on their project. And I require that all of these forms are filled out prior to their start date. So that way I have everything I need from the website, everything I need for the branding right when we get started. And that kind of helps eliminate any bumps along the process. So my branding questionnaire is all customized with my own branding, which I love. Being able to have everything on brand is very important to me, if you can't tell. And I have all of these questions that ask them, what are they currently doing? What do they want to be doing? And these just kind of get the wheels going for our strategy. And I can also kind of get an idea of where their head's at and where they want to be in terms of what their branding will look like. So that form is very important. So is the business questionnaire. This is all of the fun stuff in terms of, here's copies of their invoice and their contract, access to their client portal. And then this just gets all of the nitty-gritty details like their phone number, their website domain, just kind of the basic information that I will need to make sure their website is set up properly. And then lastly, I have the website outline, which is how I get all the copy and content for their website pages. So we'll start up here, with the homepage. The content is things like about me, and they'll put the about section in here. Sometimes I'll have to walk the client through a little bit of what should be on the page, but other than that, most have no problems filling this out on their own. And that way I have all the content, any kind of design wishes in terms of maybe they want a carousel, maybe they want a gallery, that kind of thing. And it's all here in one place. So not only I can access it at any time, but the client can access it through their client portal. So in order to get all of this sent out in an organized and timely manner, I'm going to apply my project onboarding for website and branding. So what this will do is change the status for this project from a lead to a job. It will send out my contract automatically. And then once the contract gets signed out, it will also send out the primary invoice. And then the primary invoice has its own payment reminders. So if they don't pay in X amount of time, it'll give them a follow-up. And as soon as that gets paid, my client portal gets activated. And then all these forms get sent out. So all of these forms will get emailed to the client automatically, including this what to expect. This what to expect is really important because it kind of walks them through my process and what to expect. So let's take a look at that one. That one's going to be right here. So this is automatically generated with their first name, their invoice, their contract, the start date, the portal, and then it starts going into the process. So this is how clients have no questions in terms of like, okay, what's next? What do we do after this? And then this also links to all the questionnaires that I need. And this will have their personalized Dubsado form links right there. So there's probably 3 or 4 different ways for them to access the same questionnaires. And that's very important because a lot of businesses and a lot of restaurants and hotels, they just don't have time to keep going back to the same emails. So having everything really accessible is key. And I got cut off there. Gotta love doing Loom videos. So the last thing I want to mention is I get a happy project start date email that automatically goes out the morning of their start date. This says 12 a.m., but typically it's 8 a.m., so I should probably edit that because no one wants emails at midnight. But this email basically entails all of the details of their project and where they can find their invoice, contract, onboarding email, etc. So I'll take a look at that in our canned emails, which is the next part of this project. I love having canned emails. I think this is one of the best features of Dubsado. There is nothing worse than having to repeat myself over and over and over again or going to find an email just so I can copy and paste to another client. So here is where I have my happy project start day email, and they're all pretty much the same since most of my projects start about the same. And here you can see that it lists what their phases are, what they can expect, and how long it should typically take. And then I also have a link to the questionnaire for my website project start dates. So again, having links to everything in every email makes sure that the client not only gets it done on time, but also it's convenient for them and makes it a simple and stress-free process. So I want to spend a few minutes going over my canned emails because they are so useful for so many different things. And I think that some of these might be some great ideas for you if you're not already using canned emails for things that are other than payment reminders, contract reminders. One of my favorite is the ask for review. So fun fact, SEO and Google reviews are tied very closely. And if you have a Google My Business page for your business, you want to absolutely be collecting reviews on that page. So it's very important to me that I get reviews for SEO purposes, but also for learning and growing purposes. So after every single project ends, I have a workflow that sends out this canned email about 10 to 15 days after our project end date, just to make sure that they had a great experience. And if they did, they can leave me a review. Hopefully, if they didn't have a great experience, they will let me know instead of leaving a review, but haven't had that happen yet. So luckily, we're all good there. I also send out a gift to all my clients after working with them. So this workflow allows that time for that project or that gift to arrive at their address before sending out this feedback. That way, not only did they have a great experience in working with me, but they also received my thank you gift. So hopefully this just puts a little bow on top saying, I hope you had a great time. Please leave me a review. So that's one of my favorite canned reviews. The other one is my feedback form, if I can find it. So, when I am designing a website, the very first step that I do is I will first design the homepage for that website. And then I will send over a Loom video, just like what you're watching right now, and kind of walk them through the entire homepage because I don't want to send out a live link just yet, knowing that the rest of the pages aren't ready. Some things are probably just placeholders, and the mobile version of the website's probably not done yet. So, I'll record a video and walk them through it, and I'll also send them a website feedback form to kind of give them an organized way to collect their thoughts and feedback to give back to me. And then once I have their feedback, I'll move on to designing the rest of the website using the feedback collected on that form. So that website form is one of the many forms that I've customized here in Dubsado, and we can find it right here. And essentially, it offers them a structured way to provide feedback because prior to using this form, I would just get a mishmash of emails and text messages, and things would just not be in one place. So here I have everything on one form, and it asks them for the name, if they have any feedback or edits to that page. And then if they don't and it's approved as is, then they can sign off right there, and I know it's automatically good to go. So that form has been super helpful in organizing me and keeping my client organized because a copy of this feedback will also be in their client portal. So that is just one of the other ways we can use canned emails to make our lives much easier. So there are just a few ways that I use Dubsado to help Summerside save time, keep organized, and keep my client experience as easy as possible. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I do have two businesses, and one of the best parts, which I feel like I keep saying that, but there are so many great parts about Dubsado, but probably the easiest is the fact that I can toggle between brands. So up here in the corner, I can easily toggle to my photography business and have the exact same platform for a whole separate business with one website, one login, everything links to my same bank account, or I can have two different bank accounts. It is such a great way to stay organized. And the fact that it's only one website and I can toggle between the two at any time is just mind blowing. So that's what enables me to kind of run two separate businesses at the same time, along with working full time, is because I don't have to think about all the invoicing I need to create or all the emails that need to get sent, because a lot of it is automated using Dubsado workflows. So I hope that you guys found some of that helpful. Any of you brand and website designers out there, if you're on the edge of using Dubsado or another program and you have any questions at all, please, please, please reach out to me. I am Team Dubsado all the way, and I would love to answer any questions. I would love to do a screen share with you if you want to walk through, how your process might work and you don't want to dive into, paying the full price yet. I totally get it. So reach out and let me know if you have any questions. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys sign up for Dubsado using my affiliate code on the next slide.